But again, definitely excited to kick off the beginning of our series. And I give kudos to all of our students on the call because you're already starting to think about opportunities for next summer and ways that you can get involved in potential research and internship opportunities. So you're in the right place and we're excited to start the conversations with you. We're super excited this morning because as you all know, the STEM Core program works with multiple opportunities from four-year universities to engineering and STEM firms that you could potentially intern with. However, we have had a close relationship with Cal State Los Angeles and the engineering department there, as several of our students over the last few years have had such an excellent opportunity to be able to do research and work closely with the team at Cal State LA. And for many of you on this call, our hope is that you will continue the trend and be able to have a similar experience for summer 23. So I am going to turn things over to our speaker today, Professor Charles Liu. But we will have an opportunity for you all to ask questions. So I think Professor Liu will have about 45 minutes to speak, and then we'll open it up for Q&A towards the end, the last 15 minutes. But if you have any burning questions or if anything comes up for you during the talk, feel free to put any questions in the chat and we'll be sure to address them. All right, so I am going to turn things over to Professor Liu.
Thank you, Cheryl. My name is Charles Liu. I am the chair of Electrical and Computer Engineering at California State University, Los Angeles. Cal State LA is one of the 23 campuses in California from the Cal State system. So we're 14 miles northeast of downtown LA. It's hot here. It's extremely hot now. But during the summer, as Cheryl mentioned, we had a close relationship with the growth sector. Through the STEM Core program, we had opportunity to showcase the research facilities, the hands-on experiences, along with the current technologies with our industry collaborators to provide students with all of those exposures to the current state of the art. While, of course, this is an entry level to hopefully excite and engage and encourage students interested in the STEM field to know what it's like in the four-year universities engineering and science programs, and how in the future those technologies will bring you the influences that positively impact your career plan. So that is our main goal, and that's, I believe, very aligned with growth sector STEM Core's mission and vision, so that we work very tightly, and we had a lot of meetings ahead of time, thankfully both of us are very enthusiastic, and then on both sides we work very, very closely to make it happen. So today I would like to share with you, especially for the past 2 years, 2 summers, including summer 2021 and summer 2022, how the STEM Core students have participated in the program. So in each summer, there were interns from the community colleges introduced and recruited from the STEM Core program, visiting us. Of course, 2021 is fully virtual because the campus was not open at that time. But for the past summer, 2022, the majority of the students could come over to Cal State LA. So physically, they can play with the equipment, the devices in the research labs, the plenary workshops that they learn about the programming, learn about the other computer-aided tools that I'm going to share a bit about those things later on, but we make it a hybrid mode, meaning that the majority of the students came to us during the summertime. It's an 8-week program. So, but it's a hybrid mode because we still have a few students from Seattle, and then they could join us remotely, and also a couple of them from San Diego County. So it's like a 2.5 hour driving distance, but they came over still once in a while, so that there's a time that students can meet with each other, especially for the engineering and science major. We thought this is important to exercise. Thankfully, that we would have the opportunities so that they can see and have the interactions with our faculty, and also they spend majority of time with the student graduate TAs. All right, so that they're similar in age, and they talk in the same language, and they could be mixed together very well and productively. So that is the model that we've developed with growth sector for the past few years, as Cheryl mentioned. Without further ado, let me share with you some of the exciting activities. Could you see my screen? Of course, it's not about COVID updates, but I would like to show you, this is our website, Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. So we are the hosting department, though students from different disciplines were able to participate in the internship. So we specifically called it the engaged learning. So in our vision, we want to involve students who are from the different background. So over here, you saw a robotic arm that we used 2 years ago with the interns. So you see that with the robotic arm, there's a design that is related to the mechanical engineering side of that. You need to design the hinges, you need to design the robotic arms, you need to use some 3D printing tools, this and that, to facilitate the design of different components and assemble them together. Oh, I forgot to share it with audio and video both. Let me do it one more time. So that happens in 2021. Oops, wrong screen. All right, so you could you see the screen? Could you hear and see the screen?
Yep, audio and visuals working.
Right. So what you saw previously was the modeling stage. We used a tool called SolidWorks, which support us with the modeling of the robotic arm, as well as the simulation of that. And then based on that model, eventually we built this one. And there is actually a board here, if you could see. So the board actually is a controller to determine there's a motor control to determine the angles that you want to let robotic move to the right, rotate, or shift in different directions. So the goal here is to develop a robotic arm launched in a shower room, so that this can allow a patient to have a hand-free operation of the robotic arm to dispense soap or the body wash. So that way, the patient, this is a typical exercise in biomedical engineering. So in biomedical engineering, there are a lot of researchers develop the instrumentations to facilitate for example, the testing, the signal detection, all of the functions like CT scan or MRI. These are all related to mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and computer science, right? So this robotic arm specifically was sponsored by Xilinx. It is a company in North in San Jose area. So they sponsored us with the microcontroller. Let's continue and see what's the next. Yeah, you can see the board at the bottom left. That is the controller. So you can program it to determine how to grab things and what will be the angle of the movement of the arm. And this is the coding side of that. And in engineering discipline, there will be a lot of testing before it is finalized in design, right? So you're testing the concept, and you need to do some trial and errors. Those are the experiments. See if this is designed according to your desire. A lot of data collection, that's very important exercise. You need to draw the chart to see quantitatively if this is the right design. Let's fast forward a bit, because there are a lot of detailed exercise that are very technical. But there's also the computer vision part. So a camera is installed. Oh, this is Dr. Wang. She was a participating faculty advisor in her hometown. She is actually testing that the camera could detect the location of the patient. So the location of the patient will be sent to the microcontroller so that the Xilinx board will determine how to move the robotic arm to the right position, right height for dispensing the body wash. There are different sensors which allow you to see the distance of an object. So those sensors associated with the camera will be able to give you a very precise location of object, in our case, the patient's body. So I won't go through the rest of them, but you can pick up the idea and see easily there will be some multidisciplinary exercise among the different disciplines. In this case, electrical engineering for the design of the board, for the controller, and mechanical engineering for the modeling and the implementation, the design of the robotic arm. There's also the computer science side, which is to develop the controller's code, right? So that is a very typical exercise nowadays in industry. So we're trying to mimic that. Xilinx Be Winners was the project that we focused on a year ago. There were 5 interns participated in this project. So that is the different design related to the computer vision, with the computer aided design and robotic arm design, respectively, as I mentioned. So for the summer internship, STEM core students, there were 5 of them who participated in the internship program. They were involved in the modeling and also the design and the data collection, the testing result collection. Some of these are 2 of our interns last year. They interviewed also our alumni currently working in the industry to find out the career development from the early stage of the undergraduate students all the way. She has graduated with a master's degree from electrical engineering. So that is another task that the interns were participating, so that they interviewed a couple of very successful alumni from the department. And they were also involved in the website design, so they could learn the design perspective. And those are the profiles of the 5 interns last year. Then for this year in 2022, we also collaborated with the growth sector again through the STEM core program. We had the so-called the SMART internship, and this is much larger scope compared to the year 1. So it is an acronym of summer making, academic preparation, and research for transfer students internship. All right, so that is dedicated to you with the background. So the making part makes sure that there's some will be some hands-on experiences. They were working in our maker space, so they're working benches. They work with our Cal State LA students, collaborate with all different aspects. You will see several pictures and also some of the outcomes. Academic preparation, that's another thing. So they also participated in seminars. So they identify during the transition of the transferring process, is there any obstacles, if there's any resource that could be helpful for them. So we created a Discord channel to collect all such information, so Cal State LA would be able to provide necessary resources for the pre-transfer students. So that is related to the academic preparation and career plan. The last one is about the research. Okay, so there's the technical part in terms of hands-on experiences, a quantitative study of the applications, and also research opportunities. There were 17, much larger scope. In year 1, we had 5. The second year, we have 17 SMART interns from 5 community colleges participating in the SMART internship. So what did they do? There are required plenary workshops. So tentatively, they work 40 years a week for 8 consecutive weeks. That was planned. And then we followed that schedule during the past summer. So out of the 40 hours, they spent 30 hours with our TAs for workshops. And this time, the topic is Intel AI Dev Cloud for machine learning applications. All right, so Intel, you all know Intel. They're the manufacturers for the CPUs, central processing unit for your computers, and also the GPUs for if you're gamers. You know that they're you're doing a lot of very graphic heavy applications. So not only you need a CPU, but also you need a GPU, which stands for graphic processing unit. So Intel provides us their resources through the cloud server, right? So cloud, nowadays, you know cloud. For example, you have Google Drive, that is a cloud. So your files are loaded up in the cloud, right? Not rather than your local computer. Likewise, the Intel Dev Cloud allows you to utilize their resources and instead of consuming your computational power on the laptop or desktop or tablet PC, the tasks are done through their computational facilities up in the cloud, which are their CPUs and GPUs. That's their products, right? So they're trying to test their products and see the performance using machine learning applications. What are they? So let me show you quick what students have worked in this project right here. Okay. So this is from one team of the smart interns. There are 5 teams worked on the so-called a bird watcher project. So the idea is to use Python programming. Python is one of the high-level programming languages that allow people to develop program logic, to develop the applications, software applications. So in this object, we use the Python programming. Of course, I won't bug you to read all the details, but during summer, they've spent 8 weeks on these to be able to develop their code, and eventually their code will be smart to detect potential birds within the image. All right. So so within the image, which is a photo, so the code will be able to tell you, hey, this is a 99.9% of the confidence level that this is a bird. But the code is not smart enough, right? So over here with the hind leg of the bird, oh, it's not a hind leg, there are only 2 legs. But for the bird, the code is not as smart as your eyes or your brain. The code thought, hey, this is a smaller chick, maybe behind the mommy bird, right? So that was a mistake. But essentially, that is how machine learning is helping you nowadays, right? So similarly, they're doing a lot of other cases and tests. Hey, this is they flip an image, hey, they can still detect there is a bird within the image. So they did a lot of funny things, and then essentially that is about the machine learning capability that they were involved. So they spent 30 hours a week to participate in the learning for it's a plenary session. So all 17 students have to attend the Deaf Cloud learning so that they develop the bird watcher program during the summer. And for the rest, 10 hours, remember the commitment is 40 hours a week. So for the last 10 hours, they're distributed to 6 different professors based on their background. Essentially, we have students with the background of electrical engineering, aerospace engineering, mechanical engineering, computer science, and there are a couple of chemistry students and 1 industrial engineering student. All right, so regardless, the applications apply to all, right? So they work in different subjects, different research activities with the different research facilities within Cal State LA. And so these are some of the examples. For example, one student's working on the welding part of that in mechanical engineering. His background is mechanical engineering, while other students work using the so-called the MATLAB. Very soon when you transfer, or maybe you have in community colleges, actually there's also numerical method courses using MATLAB. So MATLAB is actually a very commonly used tool for you to model the applications and allow you to be able to run different simulations, right? Which involves maybe a drone, maybe some car design, auto drive, autopilot design. So there are some engineering design that you can model it before you physically build it, right? So that can significantly reduce the cost. So MATLAB is widely used in industry. So students are given exposure of using MATLABs. And this is a group picture. You see most of them show up in person, but there are some students in San Diego County and in Seattle. So they just join us to the design of the technologies. This is a plenary session, so we're explaining to them. Anthony is a graduate student, and was teaching the workshop. And this is actually another activity afterwards. So East LA College actually came to Cal State LA, and their STEM core students actually joined us with a tour. So it's a half-day tour. So they visited some of the research facilities. So if you are the coordinators at different community colleges, if you're close by, feel free to make some arrangement with us. We're very willing to show you the facilities. And through Cheryl and Myra, you can easily find my contact in their different outreach activities and also open house events. The most recent one is going to be held on October 1st. So if you're interested, just feel free. I can share with you the information, but there are plenty of such opportunities. So they visited our biomedical engineering lab, electronic makerspace, robotics lab, and also the smart internship presentation. So Alex's from ELAC presented what he learned from the 8-week program. So and then they also visited the hydrogen station and the ECST makerspace in the CSULA tour. So this is an example agenda that a student can participate. For example, these are all ELAC students. They came over and we just had a chance. So Anthony was here, Alex is there. So he presented his summer learning afterwards. This is the makerspace. They're looking at the 3D printer and see some of the results. And this is the robotics that are involved. It's a rescue robot. Basically, the student can move head from different ways, and you see this is a camera on top of a robotic car, and the robotic arm is going to move accordingly when you move your head. This was a rescue robot we designed with NASA to help our student develop this through some learning of the robotic design and also the controller, the electronic board, the programming on it. So this is a rescue robot. So when the operator remotely move the head, the robotic arm is going to move accordingly. So through the goggles, the operator could see, for example, in a aftermath in a scenario which is hazardous or not accessible by human rescuers, and we can send the robot to there. And then with this operation, you can just move head. You can have your hands free, so the operator can use the hands to control other, controllers to for example, provide first aid to patients or provide a bottle of water. So you could imagine this was an example which involved a lot of engineering disciplines. So likewise, another student also test out the same function. Then they also have some social time, so they know they can share with each other their background. They're mixed together from all 5 different community colleges. So they're enjoying the sunny day. It's not as hot as today, and we were not allowed to eat inside. So that's why they had outside eating and the social time together. And this is another research lab. So another student basically just test. So she was tested with the signals put on a helmet, and she wear it on the head, so there will be signals collected. So she is the guinea pig to be tested. And interestingly, she decided to focus on BME as her future major. So that is a perfect fit. She was very happy with the learning experience in the BME lab, biomedical engineering lab. They had also toured to the hydrogen station. So essentially, hydrogen is an alternative fuel power resource other than the traditional fuel, because it's pollution free, because the side products just water, right? Hydrogen combined with oxygen. So when there's the chemical reaction, that's just water as the side product. So we had a hydrogen station, so they visited the hydrogen station. And this is a small board, we called it field programmable logic gate arrays, so FPGA in short. So several students interested in computer engineering field and computer science field had an opportunity to build their code on the FPGA, so that the logic is reprogrammable. So sorry, this is a kind of advanced technology, but they had experience with that. So they could not only provide programming in software, but they could program the hardware directly. So again, this is the robotic arm you have seen from the video. So this is a patient doll over there. So we tested with the miniature test bed, so the robotic arm could change the position based on the camera to locate the patient's location, and then rotate accordingly, and then dispense the shampoo. Students were also using these are the interns, so they have the hands-on experience to play with that. Oh, we have already seen that, right? So there are different activities. So the participating research area, including the ECST makerspace and the electronic makerspace. I won't go over the details, but it describes the facilities and tasks that are provided to the students. And the smart interns work with in the lab in 2 projects. This is the BME, biomedical engineering lab, and also object-oriented programming. So for computer science students, they learned Python for different applications, some algorithm design related to the object-oriented programming. Embedded architecture, that's the FPGA I just mentioned. So you can program the hardware for better performance of the applications. All right, so those are the participating facilities, lab facilities at CalCLA. Profiles, students were partitioned into 3 different groups based on their background. So the first group are those from the computer engineering, computer science major. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those students. So you can, I can share with you later on the website, so you can find out their background. You can find out what they've learned from the internship program. So for each one of them, they've provided something. And I believe Cheryl and Myra have a more detailed version of that, because students also submit their testimonial to STEM core directly. So this is just a brief introduction of that. Similarly, there were electrical engineering, biomedical engineering students, 4 of them, and mechanical engineering, 3 of them. So they all have their learning customized research part, but there's the plenary side of that, which is the Intel Dev Cloud. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 different teams, and the other major, they're all remote. They were in the industrial engineering and chemistry major. But keep in mind, for the machine learning, that applies to all different majors, not necessarily to be engineering only, but machine learning nowadays is applied to scientific applications, even the natural science and social science as well. So the machine learning has been widely used. In our plenary session, they could also benefit from the learning experience, although they were not in electrical, mechanical engineering or computer science. Right? So that is a very, very brief introduction to the program. I think I could pause here, and I would like to see your, I saw several, is there any questions for me that I could, oh, the text is blurry. Yeah, it's because of the bandwidth, I assume, but I will share the link with you so you can take a look at that offline. So I'm sharing the website
Perfect.
link.
Charles, thank you for that overview. As you all can see, these students accomplished quite a bit over the summer, and it's just so impressive to see all that got done, but especially like where students began and just like the breadth of experience that they got throughout just an 8-week session, really. But I want to open it up for questions. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can put your question directly in the chat that we'll be monitoring.
Yeah, I saw one from Aslan. How many are we accepting? Well, I worked tightly with Cheryl and Myra to identify. So basically, there's a filtering process through STEM core. So we will receive the candidates' resumes. Then we try our best to accommodate students' needs. The most important part is the attitude. If you are willing to receive some thing, you want to learn something. I think Cheryl can also echo me that this is we're very accommodating to students' need.
Yeah, for sure. And I can also just briefly go over what the application process is. I think most of our students are relatively new to the program, so you probably haven't gone through the internship application process. So Growth Sector / STEM Core will release an internship application, a mass internship application. So it's essentially like a general application that you all will submit. The application period will open later this fall, probably towards the end of October. You'll get the information directly from your campus student support specialist or whoever told you about this session today. But for the general application, you will submit your STEM resume and answer some questions. And then every student who applies through the STEM core internship application will go through a one-on-one interview with our growth sector team. From there, we'll learn a little bit more about you in terms of your experiences, what you're looking to get out of a summer placement, your major areas of interest, and overall like your attitude and like willingness to learn. As Professor Liu said, a big part of this, and I think it's echoed by a lot of our partners that we work with who are potential mentors, they're really looking for students who have a positive attitude and a willingness to come in every day, ask questions, and do the work. I mean, you all are already doing the work on campus. You're already part of the STEM core, and we know that, and that's step one. But I think step two is really you wanting to take the initiative. So after you go through your first interview with Growth Sector, you'll do a second interview with your potential site. So in this case, it would be with Dr. Liu and the team at Cal State LA. And then they review your resumes and decide which students we're actually going to bring on for the actual placement. We try to do this as early as possible. So our goal is by mid-spring, you should have an idea of where you're going. But of course, things happen. And I know there are a few smart interns from this summer who joined a little bit later in the spring, if not early summer. But I think that's just about the flexibility that we definitely appreciate from Dr. Liu as well.
Right. I think there are a couple of questions, one for me, one for you. So let me answer the technical question first. For a biomedical major interested in BME, so the internship actually has a very low threshold because we understand that this is more like enlightenment than the preparation of the prerequisite knowledge. So most of the internship students have decided the major. They're interested in engineering or science or computer science or other relevant disciplines, but they're still probably just started from the first calculus class. That's fine. That's fine. So in our preparation for the interns, we will minimize the prerequisite knowledge. It's more important to meet people, right, and interact with faculty and fellow students to learn from each other. That's more important than the prerequisite knowledge. So back to your question, Python is not necessary. Next year, we don't know if it is Python, right? Just like year one, year two, the topics are different, all depending on the preparation and also what we identified. And also the other factor is our industrial collaborators' interest, right? So those will be the key, but we will prepare students in the beginning. Honestly, we spent the first 2 weeks to describe Python from the beginning because a lot of students don't have experience with Python. So next year, we don't know if it is Python, but don't worry about the prerequisite.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I think that kind of goes into the other point that I wanted to make, just in terms of all of these smart interns that you have seen profiled, we're sitting exactly where you were last year at this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a huge thing to note, is that this is a great opportunity because it's not immediately focusing on that you should be at calculus 3 or that you should have all of these programming languages or all of these technical skills under your belt. So this is definitely an excellent opportunity, but also noting that whether it's Dr. Liu at Cal State LA or another employer partner that STEM Core is working with, I think the goal, or most of our partners understand what the STEM Core program is and understand the work that all of you are putting in right now as you're like on your campuses working with your support specialists. So the big things that we're looking for is, one, calculus readiness. So you're finishing your STEM core year with the program, you're taking your STEM core classes. So a lot of you will already have built in your intro to engineering, potentially your intro to programming, those hands-on workshops that you're doing with your support specialists. That's perfect. If you do anything additional, like as you'll talk to your student support specialist about, that's bonus and great. But I think the key is that you are really taking this initial STEM core year very seriously, but also realizing that you are coming into this experience and like you're seeing like the level of projects that these students are working on. You don't have to know this all before you come in. And that's sort of like the beauty of it, coming in and realizing that you're going to learn a lot in such a short amount of time.
Right. I would like to add to that. We intentionally involve more our graduate assistants in the picture because I think it is natural that you guys in the newer generation, you communicate using your languages and and also share the experience with each other. That's why there's the preparation part of that, academic preparation part of that. Honestly, most of the interns have already decided their major, but if you're not sure, this is also an opportunity. You can get exposures to different things. And nowadays it's not like black and white. If you select electrical engineering, there's nothing to do with mechanical and vice versa. No, that's not the world. Like nowadays, there are a lot of cross-disciplinary applications that needs interfacing. So the communication becomes very important, right? So the way you're talking to each other and you have your specialty, but understand each other's restrictions, constraints, and specialty and strength, right? So those are important to appreciate factors to prepare yourself. Those are important characteristics for working in groups. So we're trying to mimic what is going to happen later on in our senior year. And of course, so in our senior year, there's a capstone design. I believe most of the engineering disciplines have programs have the similar arrangement. So in the senior design or a capstone design, you will be grouped with other students, maybe from same major, maybe from different major, but you work together, focusing on a different part of the application of the designing a component or a system of something, right? So like what I have shown you, the robotic arm for dispensing the shower, right? For the shower, for the shampoo, right? So that involves easily mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science, right? So you're working with people with different background, but you need the interfacing, communication, social ability are equally important.
So what I'm hearing is open-mindedness as well. That just because you're an aerospace major does not mean that you are only going to do aerospace research or an aerospace internship. So just keep that in mind.
Right. Yeah, aerospace industry, because Southern California is CalCLA is located at the center of Los Angeles, right? In Southern California, there are a lot of aerospace companies: Boeing, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, Aerospace Corporation. So those are in our surrounding area. They hire mechanical engineering students, electrical engineering students, computer science students. So when we say aerospace or astronomical engineering, that implies cross-disciplinary exercise. So yeah, as Cheryl said, we need to be open-minded, and then that's normal nowadays to learn from different disciplines.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. I see Patricia's asking, have you started accepting applications for STEM core internships? I think you're referring to. That application will open later in October, so stay tuned. I love that we're already like forward thinking about summer 23. You all are on it. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, I also provided my email, but of course, Cheryl is constantly communicating with me. So if you don't remember my email, just contact Cheryl if you need any help. As I mentioned, if you're the coordinator from community colleges, if you need some tour with us or some other arrangement, we are open to that arrangement. Is there anything for winter? Winter is too rushing. Don't expect anything in winter. We will just enjoy our break.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the placements will mostly be for the summer, Dustin.
Yeah.
No problem. I was also going to note for students as well, like as you are preparing for application season and for what your summer is going to look like, keep in mind that there are tons of resources through the STEM core program. So you should be meeting with your campus support specialists to start working on your STEM resumes. Growth Sector has already hosted several STEM resume writing workshops to help you prepare. And we have more things coming up throughout the fall to just really get you in good shape for internships coming up. So make sure that you're reading your emails, because I know your support specialists are sending out information to keep you involved and really prepared for all of these opportunities. Awesome. Thanks, Dr. Liu, for putting the link in the chat.
Thank you all.
Great. Awesome. So I think if there are no other questions, we'll call it a few minutes early. But appreciate everybody coming out again, and huge thank you to you, Professor Liu, for putting this together and always taking the time to connect with our students. We definitely appreciate you.
We're looking forward to the future.
Awesome. All right. Have a
All
good
right.
one, everybody. Thanks so much. Have
Thank
a
you.
good weekend.
Bye-bye.